Hello and welcome back to the fake TV channel, also known as the Lost Begotten on YouTube. Thanks for joining me, us, this place. Yeah. Hi. Anyway, so today we're going to be going over some news. It's been a while, right? But today was just an interesting little news day. And series of stories I'd like to comment on. Like, for instance, this one right here. They're going to be raising a rather disagreeable critique that I'm not even going to bother with, but one thing I said for a long time is that, you know, not only does Obama have to play it right when he gets into office, this was, 8 years ago I said this, but once he gets in there, he's going to wake up to the whole reality of national security as it actually is. And, yeah, I'd imagine so. He's an American president. That's also an American president. Politics gets left at the door once you wind up in the White House. Okay, so what else we got here? This is very interesting. An explorer has died after a, quote, daring Antarctic trek. So, here's the map of where these so-called cross-polar journeys take place. And if you notice, see, here's the peninsula. So essentially, they're landing on one side of the peninsula, walking inland for a while, and then walking out. Okay, well, apparently this guy didn't make it. And there's been a lot of trouble with these types of expeditions lately. They started saying for a while that they lost the South Pole altogether. Now this guy, doesn't have a crew with him, and he gets lost and winds up dead. I don't need their music. Y'all don't need their little elevator music, do you? So yeah, this is the CNN report. And this guy apparently was, friends with Prince Harry. Or Prince William, excuse me. So, I want to say he looks familiar from something else. Like I've heard him speak about something somewhere. I'm not sure, but all I gotta say to anybody who wants to try to get down to the Antarctic is be careful. So let's see what else happened that's fascinating. Rick Perry, Mr. I'm gonna suddenly have communist looking glasses that I don't really need now that suddenly there's like a Russian threat in the world again. He's endorsing a guy who was, well, I've called him a possible Russian spy. And yeah, so that's interesting. Ted Cruz, yes, possible Russian spy, now endorsed by Texas governor whose tried to become a separate country, by the way. He's a separatist. Like, he wanted to secede from America for a while. And then he actually stopped talking about that crap when the Ukraine crisis started. And since then, he's been wearing these fake, stereotypical communist-looking glasses. In related news, Glenn Beck has also endorsed Ted Cruz.
Constitution of the United States. And that's why I am for Ted Cruz. He is a constitutionalist. He, at 13 years old, he had memorized the Constitution and was going around the state doing this amazing memory thing on the...
Okay, so at 13 years old, assumingly at his parents', I mean, it's safe to assume, at his parents' encouragement, he was pretending to be some sort of a savant because he could memorize something. You know, when I was 13 years old, or 10 years old, whatever age he actually was when he was doing this stuff, I think he was younger than that. You know what I had memorized? The words to my favorite rock and roll song, and like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle theme song, and you know, like, So why would he be going on parade as some sort of a constitutional savant, as if they were planning a future in politics for him from an early age?
Constitution. He was raised by a father who escaped from Cuba, actually fought for Fidel, came to America, realized the difference, became an American citizen, raised...
Wait, what you say?
From Cuba, actually fought for Fidel.
So he was a, what was it, Sandinista? Something Easta, I'm sure. Oh, I always got an Easta at the end, right? I always got to make it sound like a cute little car. I'm just messing around. So, Ted Cruz's Cuban father and his mother didn't want to live in America anymore. Well, when he was born, decided to go to America and make Ted Cruz into a future politician. Why? Because he used to be a guerrilla fighter for...
came to America, real amazing memory thing on the Constitution.
Castro.
He was raised by a father who escaped from Cuba, actually fought for Fidel, came to America, realized the difference, became an American citizen, raised Ted on...
What was this story supposed to be about?
And so it's in his bones. And what I've warned about for so long...
Supposed to be about Donald Trump as a dangerous man? Okay, whatever. I'm sure he's going to get to that. You know, what's interesting about this is most people in the Shilliverse and the fake flat earth and fake conspiracy universe altogether make you want to think that all these fucking people just get along and they're best friends and they only pretend to have their differences. But here is a guy who's as close as it gets to being a loud, you know, independent media voice, okay? Independent media voice. And he's talked about the Illuminati and all that stuff. He's basically word for word quoted most of the conspiracies that these people who claim to be independent media on here believe in. Yet his glasses went from black to gold. And he's endorsing somebody who in a lot of ways could be considered either as a part of the establishment, or B, a threat to it. So, are all these so-called independent media channels a threat to you? A threat to your country? Because I consider these people to be. Anyways. And,
people only focused when I was...
you know, I'll still agree with them on that one.
At Fox, they only focused on what I was saying about
What was he going to say about Trump? Come on.
Is a very dangerous man. We need a constitutional restraint on the executive branch. And Donald Trump, I really truly believe, is a very dangerous man. If you listen to Chris, some of the things he said this weekend,
dangerous why? Obviously,
I could go on to Fifth Avenue and I could shoot people.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really more clearly spell out the fascist ideal, you know, walking up to people who disagree with you and shooting them and your supporters cheer and stuff. That's just crazy talk, man. And he should be barred from the election altogether. Donald Trump should be barred from the election altogether for saying what he said. For saying all the things he said. Oh my God. Can we have just an echo of civilization required from our presidential candidates? Whew.
And I wouldn't lose a single vote. He's joked about killing reporters like Putin. Actually.
Yeah. And he said he'd get along with Putin. I could see why. Okay, so Yulia Tymoshenko was in Ukraine today, saying something I don't understand and looking very pretty. And that's about all I know about that. Trying to be funny. That was supposed to be funny. There's some interesting news out of... go lay down. Interesting news out of Ukraine. The Ukrainians have sent, at this point, 1 million, I think, immigrants to Poland. So Angela Merkel's asking for immigrants, and Ukraine had plenty of them, and I'm wondering why she didn't want Ukrainian immigrants in there. I mean, I could understand from one perspective, but then she kind of blew that out of the water with what she wound up doing, didn't she? And meanwhile, back in the Donbass, there has been, as usual, numerous separatist violations. Poroshenko is now openly saying that he declares it to be a false ceasefire. So even at the top, there's no more pretending that there's a ceasefire anymore. Migrants have been rioting at the Calais, France area known as the Jungle. Just keep piling into that area and complaining about it. I suggest they stop piling into that area. The EU is getting involved to an escalating situation between Turkey and the communist Kurdish militias in the east of the country. And what Turkey was doing along the Iraqi border was fighting them, it turns out, in addition to what they were claiming to be Islamic State. So, also in Flat Earth news, I think this is kind of relative. Elon Musk would like to build cars in China. See, Elon the Muscovite, Elon Muskoki, Elon Muscovy? I wonder what his real name is. Dun dun dun. He owns a company called Tesla. Okay, and Tesla Corporation builds electric cars. And that's good and all, I guess. Except for Tesla just came out of nowhere right after there was a conspiracy to eliminate American-made electric cars about a decade ago or so. Remember that? The Chevy Volt getting crunched? And there's just always been something that creeps me out of that about this guy. And that was before I, you know, ding-dinged about the last name. But, you know, the Communist News Network is all up his wazoo. And look at that, Tesla. See, while I am friends with one of the founding members of Ultra Tesla Group, and I support a lot of their ideas, and I sympathize with them, Tesla's contributions have been somewhat exaggerated as a point of anti-American propaganda and pro-Russian propaganda, because Nikola Tesla was what? A Russian immigrant. Yes. And made to work under the fascist Thomas Edison or whatever, you know. There's a whole story about it now. And there's no telling how much of that is true with what we know about the overwhelming waves of bullshit from the FSB. Anyways. So, I suppose it's good for America that he's finally making affordable electric cars, but, you know, I'm much more interested in Honda and Ford and, you know, American car companies and Japanese car companies and even German car companies producing electric cars, which they are. So, you know, if CNN wants to just keep on reporting on Elon Musk as if he's the only person who knows how to build an electric car, I guess that's fine. They can do that all they want. So yeah, anyways, what else we got here? Oh yes, also in Flat Earth news. Now, see, this is basically going to confirm everything I've been saying for a while, so I'm just going to let you listen to it. This is Ezra. Ezra, if you're watching this or one of your people catch this, thank you so much for what y'all do. I don't entirely agree with everything y'all say, you know, because nobody entirely agrees with everything everybody says, but some of what y'all do, man, it is priceless, okay? I mean, absolute golden, priceless wonderfulness. And this report, right up there with it. But for reasons that I don't think you'll agree with.
Fascinating.
Thanks to the Rebel Media.
Fascinating footage taken by a drone of a new Russian spaceport. It's called the Vostochny Cosmodrome. It's not operational yet, but it's expected to start this spring. It's huge. Not just the launch facilities, but look at all the nearby support buildings. This is a major facility, and it's new. It's additional to what Russia already has. When was the last time NASA built Cape Canaveral? It's a bit of a trick question, of course. No need for a new Cape Canaveral. As you know, Barack Obama shut down America's space shuttle program in 2011. 135 missions the shuttle made. No more. America cannot put someone into space now. It literally had to sign a contract with Russia for them to send Americans into space at an extraordinary price, but not just the price of money, the price of America's national independence, national security, national pride. Did you know that American astronauts have to learn Russian now to go up into space with the cosmonauts? What do you think John F. Kennedy would have said about that? But see, America has higher priorities now. Here, listen to Obama's appointee to run NASA, Charles Bolden, what
he was first appointed.
When I became the NASA administrator, or before I became the NASA administrator, he charged me with 3 things. One was he wanted me to help re-inspire children.
Neil, is that you?
To want to get into science and math. He wanted me to expand our international relationships. And third, and perhaps foremost, he wanted me to find a way to reach out to the Muslim world and engage much more with dominantly Muslim nations.
Got it. Well,
Wait, what?
As administrator, he charged me with 3 things. One was he wanted me to help re-inspire children to want to get into science and math. He wanted me to expand our international relationships. And third, and perhaps foremost, he wanted me to find a way to reach out to the Muslim world and engage much more with dominantly Muslim nations.
got it. Well, mission accomplished, I guess. There are no more American space shuttles, giving effective control of NASA to Vladimir Putin, really. But hey, Islamic outreach, that seems to be going pretty well, isn't it? For the Rebel.media, I'm Ezra Levant.
Can you say, whoa? So, I reported a long time ago, and I re-reported this, you know, on one of the first videos we did on this channel, that Obama had essentially cut 15,000 graphic artist jobs from NASA right around the time Math Powerland showed up on the scene. And for all those people who want to list Math Powerland on the shills, you know, piss off. As far as I'm concerned, if Math fucking Powerland wants to be a shill, he alone can be a shill. You want to know why? Because if Math Powerland didn't do that brilliant fucking stand-up comedy act about the flat earth, none of the people who are getting all these views because of flat earth would be getting any attention. Nobody would be taken to the rabbit hole's edge, let alone jump the fuck in, without that right there causing this wave of, you know, it's kind of funny, but it really does seem fucking possible. It was his presentation that did that. And you know, what he doesn't have in common with the obvious Shilliverse is he kind of, what's the word? Works for a living. Oh. You know, and I'll take personal blame because I'll take personal blame for his appearance on Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes, because I had just had a conversation with him about, well, maybe Patricia Steer isn't all that bad. You know, she seems like she might be on the fence, but like on that side, but maybe somebody we could reach out to slowly but surely. You know, wrong there, but I was talking to Math about, you know, he should do her show. And he was kind of against it and kind of just like, you know, wanting to steer clear of those people altogether. And I was also having conversation with Patricia Steer. And Patricia Steer thought Math Powerland hated her guts. So, as far as his appearance on her show, blame me for that. For, you know, trying to be a mediator and a forgiver and a counselor. Because I'm trying to bring people together from a genuine level, even if they are brought in this from the Shilliverse. I don't think anybody's beyond turning once they realize, hey, the Earth is actual a spiritual reality now. And people start looking for a new word. Mr. Thrive and Survive, not sure what your name is, brother, but you're doing some pretty promising work lately, and I know you've made some mistakes, and people like to say that mistakes make us look bad, but I think outlandish presumptions make us look bad. And, you know, I think if Mr. Thrive and Survive would issue some corrections on some of the mistakes he's made, or edit those videos or whatever, maybe re-upload them without those mistakes, because, you know, let me say this. Now that I have a computer and I've tried to slice some personal information out of a video, just one little freaking edit on a video, and seen the time that it takes to do each thing, and you have to wait for it. Like, I can see why he would get tired making the videos that he makes, because he makes some pretty advanced videos, right? So, anyways, I don't know what the fuck I was saying. People need to come together who are serious about this and stop trying to tear each other down. And I know, what's his name? Tiger Dan, he's gone off the deep end a little bit in a recent video. And yeah, I think it's pretty suspicious as well, because I've seen him make what I can only seem to be, you know, some pretty frequent silly mistakes. Kind of like the ones that you see Mr. Thrive and Survive make, but they seem less likely to be brain farts than the ones Mr. Thrive and Survive. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Follow me? So, and then you have these little guys here and there that basically have done nothing but copy other people's flat earth stuff, and then suddenly want to get in on commenting about the shill wars and stuff like that. And I mean, whatever, man. You're mostly just wasting people's time. Nobody really has anything new to bring to the table. They just go through their spiel and make the mandatory mentions of the Illuminati and the Freemasons. And none of you fucking people know what the fuck you're talking about. The Illuminati and the Freemasons are opposing forces, okay? And, you know, what do the Illuminati, the Freemasons, and the actual Jews have in common? They're all enemies of the Eastern Horde, which are the false ones, okay? And the two major people, or the two major groups that you would think of as being East or middle, you know, median, middle earners, those are really just puppets, you know? Those are the Sardukar of the sublime Patricia Emperor. Putin. Oh man, I said Putin, so now this video is going to get demonetized. See, you can't even mention the devil's name without Mammon reaching in and demonetizing your video. I don't know, because it's a flat earth video. See, people want to say about the Illuminati and everybody, you know, the control system wants to stifle flat earth. Then why is it so easy to monetize a flat earth video? So hard to monetize a video talking about or yeah. So I guess while I'm at it, I might as well comment a little more on what's going on with Flat Earth in general right now. What you have are two highly associated and very large, powerful media groups, quote, independent media groups, that have sent a bunch of people with paid perks on their channels into YouTube. And coincidentally, they all arrived right around the time I arrived. And, you know, silly me, I was just sitting there on Facebook ranting and raving about it and doing this support Ukraine group because, you know, people were dying and I thought that was important. And that's them right there, Slava Ukraine. Well, let's see. The list, of course, includes these Mark Sargent, Rob Skiba, Patricia Steer, all these people who just appeared in the past year. Just go to their freaking channel ages, okay? You know, mine's February of last year, of 2015, okay? But I have some things that are not in common with anybody else, and that's pretty obvious to see, anyway. And I don't know if anybody's been paying close enough attention to me and to some of these other people, but a lot of them have started to imitate me in little ways once I got my channel started. I found that very interesting. You know, I realize, just come to me and ask for help. I ain't hating. But there are some things that need to be done here. And it's not covering up the flat earth or putting a wrench in the whole flat earth movement. It's harnessing it and focusing it and making sure it stays on its designated path. That's all they're doing. Okay? It's about this whole blaming everything on America. It's about anti-government sentiment. They're trying to spread it. And that is not good, people. Because guess what? Did you hear this report? Okay? Did you know that Russia didn't need this new spaceport? Okay? Because the only people launching people into space right now was already from Kazakhstan. Okay? So here's a whole brand new Russian spaceport. And meanwhile, you see, the only way you can argue with the idea that Obama fired 15,000 graphic artists is by saying that the people who worked for the places that got laid off in those quantities, and you can find those quantities just not designated as graphic artists, you have to say to yourself that no, they were real aeronautics engineers and they really sent people into space rather than running a green screen and a swimming pool and some computer graphics simulations. Pick one and decide whether or not you want to hate on me for that comment, please. But the fact of the matter is, that story existed for a couple days. They had spilled the beans for a couple days and said, oh shit, we can't let people know that that's 15,000 graphic artists that work for NASA. That seems like an excessive number. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the specifics of that story were about the Houston facility being massively downsized. and the total number was 16,500. That makes 15,000 plus 1,500. 15,000 graphic artists and 1,500 what? Managers and janitors? Maybe half a dozen astronauts, actors. And, you know, the people that were there that really knew about rockets worked for the Air Force. So. Oh. But the fact of the matter is, man, look at that. This is what they're doing while oil prices are at an all-time low. This is what they're doing while we lead the world in economic recovery. The land of Nod, the kingdom of the north. The sons of Cain and Hathor. Who are the sons of Heth. But you see, you can either try to find somebody among the shills and so-called non-shills that has some story different from one another. You know, people have, some think it's a roulette wheel, some think it's a little bit curved here and there, and some think it's completely flat, some, blah, blah, blah. But they all say the same people are behind it, the same people are to blame, and they all make the same omissions, okay? The same omissions on all these fucking people. And all their little disagreements and all their arguments are as fake as they are. Figure if I'm going to be nasty to somebody, I could at least use proper grammar. Yeah. But meanwhile, while all y'all are just bickering, world's still spiraling out of control in ways that none of y'all seem to care about. Y'all seem to want to deny that it's real. But if I just go to this channel here, Sheila Aliens, okay, about the false flag believers. People like to think that everything is a false flag. Well, here's a person who doesn't disagree with you, but she has called out the Sandy Hook conspiracy type people for doing what she says was a sloppy conspiracy. And I recommend people check out
individual that I have on the phone.
This channel here, because she starts out talking about the false flag, but then she winds up debunking most of the still repeated points of the Sandy Hook conspiracy people. And man, like I've said, I think false flag conspiracies in general, as far as in this country goes, okay, our little chicken shit internet addict idea of what a false flag is largely based on the idea that all white people look alike. Alright? And I should have found this before I decided to add it to this video, but I thought it would be easier to find than this. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna just try to Alright, so here it is.
And today is January 19th, 2013. So I have some objections to the Sandy Hook shooting fully exposed video that has gone viral. And I am proud of them. I mean, that's just cool that it went viral and everything. But I do have some objections. And we're just going to go over this video point for point and find out, you know, the information that they kind of left out with this video, or maybe they were unaware that these questions have kind of been answered. Let's start with the second gunman. Was there a second gunman in Sandy Hook?
It's believed at this hour and it's been confirmed to BBC.
Alright, so I'm not going to jack her whole thing, but please go and check this video out. I don't do the whole linking things, but there you can see is the title of it on her alternate channel, the Sheila Martin channel. And she basically goes through this, which I'm sure a lot of people have seen, and look how shameful this is, that since 2013, out of the how many hundreds of thousands, if not a million people have seen the Sandy Hook conspiracy thing, only 16,000 people have seen this. Alright? And again, she's not even done with the Kool-Aid, okay? She's still drinking the Kool-Aid. She still thinks it's a false flag. But she tears the shit out of this whole conspiracy. And she doesn't upload a whole lot of videos anymore. Let me just say that. Which I think is kind of sad, because if she would get involved in Flat Earth, she would be a good asset to the movement there. But yeah, not everybody can stay this bored for this long, you know. But see, years ago she was. Oh, it looks like she's been doing some work not that long ago on this channel. So, that is the news for this January 2016. And well, let's just pray for everybody, because too many people need prayer to keep track of. Man, I really wish people wouldn't just talk out of their ass and call people's deaths a hoax. But you know, shilling is as shilling does. And these people are here not to help you. They're here to keep you from the realization of the benefits of spiritual reality and to turn what could be a true awakening into a false awakening. And essentially, through repetition, try to give you a paranoid psychosis. And well, if you need me to tell you about paranoid psychosis, we're in bad shape. That's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. I guess that's all. There's been a lot of good reports on this channel, Rebel Media, lately. And of course, if I haven't recommended to you already, I do recommend subscription to Euromaidan PR for good raw footage from the ground in Ukraine and basically the trench front of Eastern Europe. You know, it's not World War III, it's just World War continued. Yep. And beware of the kittens. Thanks everybody. Like and subscribe. Peace.